Michael Hamilton, welcome to the show, the Aristotle Full Throttle program. How are you today, sir?
I'm fine. Thank
Good.
you for having me.
I'm waiting for you to join the call on Instagram. X out of your Instagram app, go back into the app, join the call. The best part about this, we're 900 years old. How does this work? Which button do I press? Wait, I can see you, but I can't hear you. This is what we sound like right now. We did it. Guys, if you've been watching for the last 7 minutes, you've been thoroughly entertained, I'm sure. So Michael also, in addition to being an entrepreneur, a drummer, a former male model, retired, is also an excellent rapper.
I didn't recall that actually, but thank you.
I did recall that. I would like to talk about your company, Peeva, because that seems like a really needed necessity in the whole market of having a pet. Everybody loves their beloved pets. They always want to know what's going on with their pets, how to locate their pets. Every pet, if you're responsible, gets a chip in the pet so you can get scanned, so that you know you can track your pet. If your pet gets lost, it gets scanned. You know where the pet ends up. So tell me, how does Peeva factor into that?
Your pet's microchip could work 100% of the time if it's scanned and properly registered.
Yeah.
But it needs to be scanned by a reader that can read it. And it also needs to be registered in a database that's actively searched. So Peeva is actually the most comprehensive microchip registry and actively searched registry there is. It's exciting. We're saving pets literally every day at this point. We have
That's
an
awesome.
uptick in, I can't believe it.
Peeva is working on centralizing all that information so that there's no confusion. But why is it so disparate? Why is it like all over the place?
So you have multiple microchip companies, multiple registries, multiple cataloging systems. There are multiple electronic health record systems. They're all offline. They have different
I see.
data tables and naming conventions. Yeah. So we literally had to spend time with each of these EMRs and universally display and like convert all the data tables. We have this huge cloud database. Everything's backed up. The second a record is updated in a vet office, later that day, any vet can go access it from the cloud. We're literally the first cloud-based SaaS for the pet industry in general.
That's awesome. Michael and I used to jam in, I mentioned this earlier, in a basement on Orchard Street.
In the Lower East Side. I don't know if you ever realized this, but it was the basement of the iconic scene from When Harry Met Sally, the cat's deli.
That's right. Yeah. We were right on the corner.
Meg Ryan is just going nuts. And then the old lady's like, oh, I'll have what she's having. That was actually Billy Crystal's mom or the director's mom or something.
It was, I think it was Rob Reiner's mom, the director, yeah. That's true. That is an iconic scene. I didn't know that was Cat's Deli, though. I didn't make that connection.
Here, this is probably one of the smartest things you'll ever hear, ever. Because I'm about to say.
I can't wait. I'm going to prepare my brain for this.
Yeah. Okay, so startup companies and rock bands are very much the same.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
A lot of bands that never make it out of the garage or the basement are just working on demos and sending them out to whatever label.
Right.
That's what startup companies do, but they're not demos, they're business plans. The venture capital model is very much like the record label model. People aren't selling records anymore, right? I mean, I know.
No. Singles, maybe.
Being on a record label 15 years ago or 20 years ago was a great projection because now you had the label putting you on the shelf, people making you famous. So how do people now become famous if there is no label to represent them? How do they?
It's true. You need that. There's still, labels still serve a purpose in some way. However, they're clawing at all of the models too, which is funny because I was actually at a bachelor party a couple of years ago, and there was a guy who worked at a record label, and he was coming at the whole record industry from the record label perspective and frustrated as a band would be with record labels. The dude who worked at the record label was like, gosh, why are bands so resistant to getting put into a mold? And like, it's so hard for us to like get to market bands because they're so resistant. He was more of like in the cogs kind of dude at a record label. He wasn't directly dealing with bands. He was just looking at number sheets and spreadsheets and going, well, this band...
Those are the kind of guys that I used to want to just like punch in the face.
Exactly, yeah. But
You,
that's
you know,
the band point of view, for sure.
Here you are, you're out there, playing shows and, making something that you think is new.
Yeah.
And then they're putting something together that has already been done before. Like remember emo? Well, emo core was Sunny Day Real Estate and Mineral and like bands like that. It wasn't all that other shit that came about like 2009. That wasn't emo anymore. They're just kind of playing on something that was already done that didn't deserve to be on MTV because they were just kind of pigeonholed, and then they had no shelf life anyway, right?
That's so, it is true. I remember that era very distinctly because we were touring a lot. Veda was touring a lot during that time. And it was like there had been a figuring out or decoding of emo. So I listened to songs from that era going, wow, this is very dated. And at the time, I remember hearing the songs thinking, wow, this is amazing. This is great. But it's not timeless. It was a moment.
I remember some of the later stuff that you guys were doing. The music that you guys were playing was popular. And then the music that you recorded after that didn't sound exactly the same as the last thing. His voice even started to sound a little more like, kind of like that whiny stuff where,
I'll agree with your assessment for the most part. I won't really get into the weeds about it, but there was a time I can confirm that we had recorded several songs, but there were like screams that were crowbarred into these songs that were already written, and it was because there was this perception that we needed to compete with a lot of the screamy bands at the time, and I was like, these are songs. We wrote songs that are pretty to sing, and now we're screaming all of a sudden.
I'm going to have to get some merch, and I would love if you rocked a Peeva shirt. And
I would definitely wear that. Peeva shirt and a Peeva mug. Yeah, Jake is bringing up that bands are still selling vinyls, which is to switch gears.
Yeah, but where are the records? Where are the record stores? Because
there are some in LA. There's still some in LA, but that's about
Silver Lake. Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's record stores next to record stores, next to coffee shops in Silver Lake, which is
Are there any record stores with coffee shops?
They might as well just do a fusion place where you can drink coffee out of a molded record, because I feel like that would be the ultimate hipster move.
I think it's bullshit. I don't think vinyl sounds better than CDs. CDs were an improvement of vinyl.
I mean, there's definitely a different quality. I think vinyl has more of a there's a different sound quality, but you can get really high-end digital sounding stuff that sounds immaculate also. So I don't, and records technically aren't immaculate because every little imperfection in that groove is going to create an unintended sound. And whereas digital is going to sound exactly the same every time. If you have one digital version of a song, it's exactly the same as the next digital version of a song. If you have one record versus the same recording but a different physical record, it's going to have a unique sound every time because, just the one little hair or one little piece of dust in that groove is going to create a new little sound.
Nice little pop. I remember you said it best when you couldn't really get into the newer Star Wars movies.
Oh yeah,
because they were just too crystal clear visually.
Yeah,
and you kind of missed that kind of film-esque kind of look.
For sure, right? Yeah.
Right.
Thank you so much for being a guest. Next time we should figure out a way to jam. Maybe
I definitely would like to do that.
And everybody, follow Michael Hamilton at Peeva Fetch. Michael's doing a good thing. He's helping us secure our pets' data so that we can locate them when they're lost. And it's really important, I think. I think that's a good venture, and I wish you luck in that, man. Cheers, everybody. I'm Aristotle, Full Throttle, your bro in the know with the fro. This has been Michael Hamilton over here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching.